The rhythmic clatter of the train wheels against the track had become a familiar, almost comforting drone to Leo. He stared out the window, his reflection a ghostly overlay on the passing blur of city lights. Each flicker of neon, each fleeting glimpse of life on the streets below, seemed to merge into a single, monotonous stream. Wastire. Not just the end of Oolong Day tired, but a deeper, more pervasive weariness that had settled into his bones. His stop was next. The automated voice announced the station name, a signal to gather his things, to re-enter the routine of his life. He adjusted the strap of his messenger bag on his shoulder, his body already moving on autopilot towards the doors. Just then, a voice cut through the low hum of the train car, clear and bright. It belonged to a woman a few seats away, whom he hadn't noticed until now. Her name, he'd soon learned from the one-sided conversation, was Clara. She was on her phone, her back partially to him, but the energy in her voice was palpable. She wasn't just talking. She was painting a picture with her words, her hands gesturing animatedly even though the person on the other end couldn't see. "You won't believe what happened next," she said, a laugh bubbling up. So there he was, standing in the pouring rain, holding this tiny, ridiculously fluffy kitten. The train doors slid open with a soft whoosh. People shuffled past Leo, stepping onto the platform and disappearing into the night. His platform. His stop. But Leo didn't move. He was rooted to the spot, caught in the invisible net of her story. He could almost see the rain-soaked man and the tiny kitten. A decision, swift and uncalculated, made itself in his mind. He let the doors slide shut, the familiar station pulling away behind him. He was going to stay. He had to know what happened to the kitten. Clara's story unfolded like a miniature play. It was a tale of a chance encounter, a lost pet, and a series of comical mishaps involving a grumpy coffee shop owner and a surprisingly helpful street performer. Her voice rose and fell with the drama of it all, her laughter infectious. Leo found himself smiling. He'd completely forgotten about his own fatigue, his own monotonous day. He was a silent audience member, captivated by this stranger's narrative. He pictured the scenes she described, filling in the details with his own imagination. It felt strangely intimate, like being let in on a wonderful secret. Station after station passed by. Each time the automated voice announced a stop, it was a distant sound, a minor interruption to the main event. Leo was no longer a commuter on his way home. He was a traveler on an unexpected journey, following the thread of Clara's story. He wondered about the person on the other end of the phone. A friend. A sister. He wondered about Clara herself. She did for a living, what her life was like. This brief, anonymous connection felt more real and engaging than many of the scheduled interactions that filled his days. Finally, the train slowed for the last time. The announcement echoed through the nearly empty car. "This is the last stop on this line." Claire's voice softened as she wrapped up her tale. And that's how Mr. Fluffles ended up with a lifetime supply of salmon treats in his own Instagram account. Crazy, right? She laughed one last time, a warm and satisfied sound. "Okay, I've got to go. Talk to you tomorrow." She ended the call, slipping her phone into her purse. A sense of finality washed over Leo. The story was over. The journey was over. He had missed his stop by a dozen stations and was now at the end of the line, far from home. A strange mix of feelings settled in him. There was the satisfaction of hearing the story to its happy conclusion, but also a quiet, inexplicable sense of loss, as if a private concert had just ended. The spell was broken. The train doors opened one last time, spilling them out into the cavernous, quiet terminal. Clara stood up and stretched, a pleased look on her face. As she walked past him toward the exit, their eyes met for a fleeting second, a flicker of acknowledgement, perhaps, or maybe just a polite, neutral glance between two strangers. Leo didn't say anything. What would he say? Thanks for the story about the kitten. It sounded absurd. Instead, he just watched her go. As he stepped off the train and onto the deserted platform, a slow smile spread across his face. The air felt crisp and new. He had a long trip back home, a journey he hadn't planned for, but he didn't mind. Not at all. All that small, spontaneous decision to stay on the train, To listen to a stranger's story had been a detour worth taking. It was a reminder that the world was full of tiny, unexpected narratives, and sometimes all you had to do was stop and listen. He walked out of the station and into the night, his step a little lighter, feeling more connected to the vast, sprawling city and the millions of stories unfolding within it. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe for more stories that find magic in the everyday. See you next time.